All right, good morning guys. Yesterday we did a short video, talked about how we were getting ready to do this pad today. So I got the concrete all over here. The form is up and squared off. I just have to do a little bit of squaring on the sides, but I want to get a little bit of weight in there first because some of it needs to bow out a bit. So what I've been doing now is I'm just watering the gravel to give it a little bit of moisture on the bottom to wick up. And my brother-in-law just got here, so we're going to start ripping into these bags. So Cindy's got the camera. She's going to pop in and out throughout the day just to kind of capture what we're doing, and I'll make sure I stop at any crucial points so we can actually explain how we're doing this. But to begin with, like I said, we got the 3 tons of gravel down. We got the frame in place. I'm just going to put some more water in the gravel just to give it something to wick up from. We're going to dump in the first half and do any adjustments with the frame for squaring. It's already level, so it's just a matter of getting the sides a little squared up. The problem I'm having is this is the same form I used last time, and I'm finding now it's starting to twist. It's been sitting outside in the weather. But again, it's just a little mini barn, nothing spectacular, so I'm not super concerned about it. But once we get the first half dumped in, we'll bring you back out here. Cindy may come back and get a little bit of video of us doing it. But before we put in the reinforcement wire, fencing, or I'm not even actually sure what the actual name is for it. Before we put that in the center, we'll bring you back, show you that before we go any further. All right guys, so we'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, so this is actually going along pretty quickly. We're at that halfway point where we're going to put that reinforcement paneling that goes in the cement. You'll see, because the shed is 10 feet wide and the panels are only 4 feet wide, there is a 2-foot gap left over down the center. What I did last time, I'm going to do the same thing this time, is I have a roll of field fence. I'm going to cut it into strips, lay that down the center, to overlap it a bit to make up that difference, and then we'll start putting on the next layer and making it look pretty. So I'm going to keep moving, and Cindy will keep taking some footage, and Roy will keep helping me. My brother-in-law is not big on the camera. Okay, thanks. All right guys, so this is that farm fence I was talking about. It's got these look like 4x4 squares. The other material is 6x6 squares, so this should do fine in the center just to give us some structure. So I'm just going to buzz off 4 of these, and that should be all we need. Okay guys, so Roy and I have got the reinforcement fence inside. You'll see we got that 2.5 foot section of field fence down the center just to fill up that gap. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put that second half of the concrete on top. get the majority of it on top, and then we'll start shimmying to get that finished look. And hopefully sometime today my anchors will show up. I ordered those through Amazon and they haven't quite shown it shipped. They're shipped but not out for delivery, so I can't actually wet the pad until I get the anchors, so I'm hoping that all comes together for me today. But anyway, we're gonna get back at it. Gotta throw some more bags in here. Okay guys, so at this point we've put the second layer on top of that reinforcement that we put in. We're going to start putting the 2x4 on it, shimming it, trying to get the finish that we wanted. Probably going to have to add more yet, because when you do this, to get the finish you want, you actually have to have a good amount of material ahead of your 2x4 so that you're pushing in the rocks out and the fines are staying behind to get that top layer the way you want it. So anyway, Roy and I are going to get back at it here. Just stop for a second and tell you that, and we'll see how far we get before we have to add more bags. Okay guys, we're back. Do a little speaking part here again. We just took a break earlier. It's pretty warm today. I think we're pushing around 30 degrees Celsius plus humidity. So we got to the point now, we've kind of pushed everything along. We got to build up on this end. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take what's bulk of it here, run it through a screen to get the fines. Then we're going to go back, we're going to sprinkle put the fines out on the pad again and go back over it to try to fill in all the little pits where there's gravel and things like that. So we're going to try to work it smoother yet, but that's the point we're at now. So I think you might have saw us doing this in the last video. All it is this is my the screen that I use for the chicken coop for the mulch and compost. So we're just using it for the gravel. Like I said, we're taking it off there, putting it on here, sifting it. We'll dump the gravel around on the edge, and we'll put the fines back on the pad to give us a smoother surface. So we'll show you that after. Cindy will come back out in a bit too, because one of the other techniques we're going to use to get this pad to have a nicer finish is we're going to use a paint roller on it. I've seen this done in other videos. And that roller will kind of give it a textured to take away some of the lines from us shimmying the board back and forth. So that's where we are right now. Like I said, we're getting a little slower because it's getting quite warm, and but on a good positive note, I checked with Amazon, and the anchors will supposedly be here before 2:30, so probably within the next hour, if everything goes okay, we'll have those. Actually, I just see it pulled in. They're here now. So because once we get this done and get the screening done and get the finish finished, we're gonna go around the edge with the edge trowel, and before I start to water it, we're actually gonna put all those anchors in place and then touch up around the anchors, and then we'll start to sprinkle this pad. But we'll bring you back for all of that, guys. I'm gonna get back at it. We'll show you the next step when we get there. All right, we're at the point now. Roy and I have got the shimmying completed. So if you get a closer look here, you can see that the 2x4 leaves these kind of grooves or little lines as we go along. So now what I'm doing is I've got this paint roller. I've hooked it onto a 2x2. And I'm just going to go back and forth, and all this does is smooth out those little ridges, just to give it a bit more of a smoother finish. Hopefully kind of fill in any of the little tiny little pits if there is any. Okay guys, so I've done the rolling. I'm going to come back through with this edge trowel here. Really probably wouldn't need to do this, but I want to do it just to separate it from the 2x4 a bit so that it doesn't, so it's easier to take the farm off later on. Because it's not a pad like a patio. It's a pad for, I'm going to have 2x4s on the edge anyway, but anyway, so I'm going to start doing this. Once I get this complete, like Cindy will show me doing some of this. Once this is done, I'm going to start putting the anchors in. We'll show you that. And then the easy part, just got to spray. So I'll get going. So what I'm doing is I'm just marking out where the anchors are going to go. I've got way more anchors than I need. And I'm going to do the same thing I did over there. I'm going to use quite a few of them anyway. And I'll, once we decide where the door is going to be, I'll take the grinder and I'll buzz off that anchor. All right, still got the sniffles, too much dust. So I stuck the anchors in. I'm going back with the roller and smoothing out all those areas. So I'm almost to the point where I'm going to start spraying. I'll show you guys that in a few minutes. As soon as I get these edges done up. Not super concerned with how these look around these anchors because the 2x4 is going to be covering it. Okay, we're starting the last of the process, guys. This is the part, as you can see, this is the part I've been looking forward to all day. Sitting in the lawn chair with this hose. So now what I'm doing is I'm just gonna give it a good watering, but just with a light misting. The point of that is to get the top to start to get a crust on it before you start soaking the pad, so that it doesn't leave big marks from when you're actually hosing it down. So I'm going to do this for a while, let it get pretty wet, and then I'm going to leave it for an hour. I'm going to come back. I'm going to do the same thing, just mist it for quite a while, and leave it for another hour. And then I'm going to come back, but the following times I come back, I'm actually going to soak it. I'm not going to worry too much about misting. I'm going to give it a good solid watering so that it soaks into the pad. And that'll be it. A couple days I'll be able to take these forms off, and in a couple weeks I should be able to start framing these little mini barns. So it's definitely an easier process. I want to say it's got to be easier than pouring the cement if you're doing it by hand, but it's still not easy. I believe we were probably at it for a good 5-6 hours today before we got to this point. But I think it's a pretty easy process, especially if you do have two able-bodied people for something this size. But anyway, guys, I'm going to keep doing this. Not much more to show you until I start actually building these barns. So thanks very much again for stopping by here at Simple Acre Homestead. On camera, I'm going to thank my brother-in-law Roy and Cindy for doing all the filming today. But we're glad to have you back. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up and come back and keep following us. Hit that subscribe button. Okay, guys? Thanks very much.